No, no, let's not do that. Let's have Councilman Nettles. Yeah, kill camera and mic.
Controversy in the Aaron Dean trial as the judge locks the courtroom right as the sentencing phase was getting underway. Thank you for joining us this midday. I'm Sonia Azad. Dean convicted of manslaughter in the death of atatiana-Jefferson. WFAA senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez is at the courthouse. Rebecca, the sentencing hearing has finally gotten underway. What can you tell us now?
Well, the prosecution did begin its bringing in its witnesses, and the first on the stand was the forensic psychologist who actually examined Aaron Dean when he applied to be a Fort Worth police officer, and he failed him on that psychological examination. Dr. Kyle Clayton testified that the commission that licenses law enforcement officers requires a psychological examination. Dr. Clayton said he is one of the psychologists used by Fort Worth PD, and he says he conducted the evaluation on Dean on March 29, 2017. He says after interviewing him, he believed Dean had a narcissistic personality disorder that made him believe he was grandiose and had a domineering and over-controlling personality. He felt that he would not be able to work well with others, so he failed him.
And overall, what was your conclusion of this defendant's psychological evaluation?
My conclusion was that he was not psychologically suitable to serve as a police officer.
And why is that?
Because the results had suggested that he had a narcissistic personality style that would inhibit his judgment, decision-making, interpersonal abilities, and would make him more likely to engage in behaviors that could put himself and others at risk.
Now, it's important to note that Dean appealed that, the psychologist determined and failed him. So he appealed that to 3 other psychologists who actually passed him and said he was fit to be a police officer. Next on the stand was a woman who says that when she was a student at UTA, she and Dean had an encounter in the library at UTA and that he touched her inappropriately. So she filed a complaint with police and he was cited for that. Obviously, the prosecution is trying to get the jury to give Dean the maximum sentence here of 20 years. Obviously, the defense is going to bring in their own witnesses, their own character witnesses to try and get a lesser sentence, Sonia.
Well, Rebecca, the judge locked the courtroom this morning. So can you kind of give us clarity on what was going on there?
Yeah, that was a little unusual, but the judge basically called one of the city council members, Councilman Nettles, and admonished him for violating his gag order. There was a gag order placed by the judge on all potential witnesses, and Mr. Nettles was, in fact, one of those potential witnesses. So he is going to have a contempt of court hearing on January the 4th, where he is going to go over some of the charges. He faces 3 charges for violating that order by talking to the media yesterday, by issuing a statement, and actually being here through the duration of part of this trial. So that is what happened this morning, and the judge says that there are going to be other people that he plans on also calling into his courtroom to admonish for violating his gag order. Sonia, back to you.
Well, yeah, I know you're staying on top of all of this, Rebecca. Thank you for the update. We are